New at 6 here about how this scholarship will be dedicated to lacrosse student athletes who embody leadership.
Perfect. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome to the Town of Pownell Select Board Meeting, December 11th, 2025 at 6:02 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Board member roll call.
Carl Strohmeyer,
Jeannie Alexander,
Mike Gardner.
Brian Harris.
You all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, well, I would put board over here, so.
we have the tree lighting. We did pictures over there.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. I think we have some additions to the agenda tonight.
It was Jen's request for the Stewart's Holiday Match program and then something from Julie, so I thought we could do it under updates from town officials, if that's okay with you.
That's fine. Yeah. Does that, then those technically fall there? Perfect. Okay, do I have any public comment? Thank you, guys in the room, so, Kenny?
Yes, Mike's quick, if you
You
have.
just introduce yourself, please.
Thanks, they don't.
That's all right, I just.
Jenny Dewar Powell, just wanted everyone to know that the Apple Barn is having a winter wonderland all weekend, this weekend and next weekend, Thursday to Monday. There's Santa Claus is gonna be there on Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2. You know, the traditional Santa sitting, and there'll be photos, and then there's all kinds of workshops, and there's a Grinch that saves Christmas from the evil Grinch. That's gonna happen at 11 a.m. I believe, both of those days. So lots of fun stuff, so come to the Apple Barn, and there are obviously vendors, that's why I'm there. So we also have some holiday crafter vendors. So.
Perfect, thank you.
Hope to see you all there.
Tim Payne, I'm a resident. So, this is my fourth board meeting this week, so I'm gonna just read from notes, is that all right?
It's fine, Tim.
My concern this evening is a recurring issue for me, and that is unleashed dogs in Pownell. Most recently, someone that I worked with, and who's also a resident of Pownell, was attacked by a dog at the top of Niles Road. I'm gonna talk about a little bit about that, and I've been a resident in this community for 6 years. And within the last 3 years, both my son and myself have been attacked by pit bulls right on Center Street. I run a lot, bike a lot. It's one of the reasons we moved to Pownell. I love the dirt roads, folks are friendly. But I can tell from experience, I've encountered dogs on Center Street, Niles Road, Hidden Valley, and Washington. All of these dogs were not on a leash. Most of these dogs did not respond to commands from their owners. And in 2 cases, I had dogs, what I would say menace, circle you, tail down, not happy to see you. With regards to an animal control officer, none of this is going to be noticed in a car. None of these dogs respond to cars, but for walkers, for runners, for bike riders, absolutely. Specifically to the most recent attack on the top of Niles Road, had it shared with me, the response from animal control, and I have 2 questions. One, it says, there are no other episodes that have occurred at this house. We are not of the mindset that this is a specific vicious dog. My question, of course, is based on what? Because my following concerns. It's difficult to find an ordinance on the website for the town of Pownell regarding vicious or encounters with dogs, or being bit by a dog in this case. I was not able to find any kind of progressive response to it. So a dog that is simply off the leash you encounter in the road and leaves you alone, is that treated the same as a dog that actually bites you? The town of Bennington has a 6-page ordinance with regards to dogs. I'm going to leave a copy with the select board on that. And it doesn't treat them equally. If you bite a human, you move up the ladder much more quickly. If you kill somebody, you go immediately to the top of that. And that is my concern as we work through this. I have a previous experience working with the town when my son was initially bit. Paperwork is required to be sent to the town of Pownell from the emergency room. That paperwork was sent. When I followed up, it was not on file. Same dog, me a year later had an encounter. I ended up having cracked ribs. It didn't require me to go to the hospital, but I did put paperwork on file with that. I think that should be made more aware to folks. I can't be the only person encountering dogs on the roads of Pownell and having to navigate this on a situation. And again, if it requires a trip to the hospital, that should be on file with town, is my understanding. So in this most recent case, and this has been only the last month, top of Niles Road, that required a trip to the hospital. There's been turnover at the position of animal control. I understand that we rely on our fellow citizens to do that. But my concern is that multiple encounters with the same owner is going to be difficult to track over time because they may be interacting with a different officer each time there's a situation. And simply taking the homeowner or landowner's word for the situation, it's difficult to then hold them responsible.
Tim, I'm gonna stop you for a second. We have a 3 minute.
Oh, my apologies.
How much more do you have? You're like,
Three
Three minutes.
sentences.
then you're fine. You're 3.5 minutes. If it was gonna be longer, but you're fine. Finish, please. Sorry.
The other piece of information that I'm concerned with is that the officer's response to the most recent situation was to encourage the victim to reach out to the homeowner and try to remedy the hospital costs and bills. I think that's unacceptable. And putting the situation into a victim to have to travel back to a house where they've been attacked and navigate that, I don't think that's not helpful. I propose, and I want to be clear, I'm not looking to ban a dog, I'm not looking to ban a breed of dog, I'm not looking to put dogs down, but I am asking this board to consider revisiting the ordinance, making it easy to find on the website, establishing a clear procedure that would put the animal control officer responsible for working through this process and not on the case of the victim. And if just for the board to consider, the person attacked in November is a full-size male, 6 feet tall, 180 pounds. My concern is a smaller human, a kid on a bicycle being attacked by the same dog. This will be a different situation. I just want to be on the record with this board making my concerns clear. And this is the ordinance from the town of Bennington.
Thank you.
Sure.
So, I'm sure this is your first trip, at least since I've been sitting on the board to the board. So we generally don't get into discussion here.
Yep.
What I would ask is you to email us your questions and concerns that you had tonight, or a written copy's fine, however, and we will answer those questions in a timely manner.
Sure.
And I will just comment that I do believe there's one thing that I took off this conversation was I don't believe there is a record kept, but I believe there should be. So I think that's something that we can certainly look into without really creating a whole big process. Is that, right, Hannah, is that there? I don't believe we have a record of dog bites if it's the same dog,
If someone goes to the hospital, we are supposed to get bite reports back directly from the hospital. And that's a process that's followed with the health officer.
Right.
And the animal control. And there should be record kept. Our dog officer should also be keeping record. If somebody didn't go to the hospital, he should have record of those complaints also.
Right, and that's,
Those faxes would go to, that's, I'm just trying, because you were saying that you couldn't find a record.
This most recent incident I did hear about from Mike, and we waited for that report that never came through.
Okay.
So if you went and we were supposed to get a report, that is something we need to know, because I think there might be maybe an issue with the fax or something, because it would come through to Julie's desk at the fax, and then she usually makes the calls.
And she is good about.
She's very good about.
Julie's generally very good about that.
Really tracks the dog bites closely. She's.
And I never did see anything as a health officer, acting health officer, Tim, on that dog bite, so. From that one.
I know it was sent to the victim's family. It appears to be from the animal control officer. I'd encourage you to read it. It seemed to be based solely on one conversation.
I
That's a concern.
No, I agree.
Yep.
Hey, so if you could email us those questions and concerns, we will certainly address those appropriately.
I would stay, but I'm off to my third meeting of the evening, so I apologize. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hannah, do we have any other public comment? My hands are up, okay. Approval of minutes.
Happy holidays.
Still don't know if we can do September 11th. Because Jamie's not here. Do you remember, so we still don't have a. Yeah. Sorry, November 13th, 2025. Excuse me. Entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes from November 13th.
I'll second that.
Any corrections? Additions? All those in favor?
Aye.
December 4th, 2025, special select board meeting.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any corrections, additions? All in favor?
Aye.
Warrants, counts payable. November 21st, $89,438.79.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Accounts payable November 28th, $246,940.49.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Accounts payable December 5th, $31,069.82.
Motion to approve? Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Accounts payable December 12th, $19,865.34.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Payroll, November 21st, $14,105.03.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Payroll, November 28th, $13,995.90.
Motion to approve? Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Payroll, December 5th, $16,062.63.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Payroll, December 12th, $13,681.27.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Updates from town officials.
Oh, I have a couple, as I mentioned before. The first is from Jen Boucher on Parks and Rec. Dear Pownell Select Board, Parks and Rec is seeking your permission to apply for the Stewart Shops Holiday Match Program, which is accepting applications through January of 2026. We have applied for this program and received funding of $1,500 in each of the last few years. Park and Rec uses these funds to benefit Pownell residents. In the last year, we purchased and installed the bicycle repair station on Center Street Park. This year, Parks and Rec would like to apply for this program to make improvements at the Route 346 field, which may include a new sign and replacement of picnic tables, materials for a walking path, or other needed maintenance repairs. We have already met with Pownell Youth Sports and will work collaboratively, I cannot say that word tonight, apparently, in this regard. I would ask that the Select Board please approve Parks and Rec request to submit an application to this year's Stewart's Shop Holiday Match Program. Regards, Jen Boucher.
Board's pleasure.
I'll make a motion to accept Jen's suggestion on applying for the Stewart's grant.
I'll second that motion. Of course, sounds like a good idea.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The second is from Julie, our town clerk, to the Board of Select. I am requesting $3,000 to finalize the maps downstairs from a digitization restoration fund. Bridget has hyperlinked all of the 230 Mylars, which are uploaded to the website. We didn't hyperlink them on the website, just to clarify. They are on the website though, under digitized maps and helpful links. So our Mylars are there now. She's currently working on the map box, the small book and the big book, which all have to be done separately. For further info, you can talk to Carl because he checks on her work pretty regularly.
I do keep an eye on that.
And that's all she had to say. Just looking for your blessing to use that money from her fund.
She has the money in the fund.
Yeah.
Do you know how much is in the fund total?
And if I go grab my budget
Well, it's,
notebook,
it's not
It-
draining the fund down.
No.
Wasn't there like
no, in that,
$1,000 left in that fund?
it's well over that. Well,
Okay.
it was upper teens, I think, but
Oh, okay.
money goes into there with every recording
Okay.
for digitization of her.
For some reason, 7,600 stuck in my head left.
I think it's higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you exactly if you want.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure before we vote to expend any money that
Yeah.
it's.
No,
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I think if she needs it, she needs it. I mean,
I think we're getting, I think we're in a pretty good place. I think Carl is, kind of keeping an eye on progress.
Yep.
It's not just a, money spent without anybody watching what's going on
No.
type of thing. So I think.
thank you for that.
No problem.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Carl. What's your pleasure? She's asking for $3,000.
Yeah.
I'll move to accept Julie's request for $3,000 in the budget to help facilitate continuing to print these tests.
I'll second that motion.
More discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
More updates from town officials?
No, other than I will say that I guess you could say the staff and employees bought all of the, boards and commission members T-shirts. And our employees are getting hoodies and T-shirts, so this is the first time we've ever had town of Pownell shirts. Which are really nice and it's really exciting. It's
Maybe we
seems
can start
fulfilling.
selling them on our
I'm really-
website.
Really so excited to have a T-shirt that says town of Pownell. So,
Very simple, but kind of cool.
Actually, I like Carl's idea.
we've never done.
Some on the website and sell them.
We should start our own line of merch.
It's a great color too.
Yeah.
I have one update from me as a select board member. The Conservation Commission meeting on Tuesday, I believe it was Tuesday night, right? It was mentioned in their meeting that in about the 16-minute mark, give or take, that I was aware of or had had conversations with a group of people or a single person or whatever that is interested or has interest in the racetrack and what's going on down there. So I did have a conversation with a person. I have no idea what their plans are, not a single clue. I couldn't tell anybody right now if they asked me what their plans are. They were interested in coming to the select board meeting as a group. And I advised them that I didn't think that was a good idea. It's a private group that's trying to do something. And that's as far as my conversation went. I could not tell you, other than the one person that I had a conversation with, I cannot tell you another single person that's involved. And they did reach out to me. I had a person reach out to me Monday. Asking some questions, and I had a person reach out to me Tuesday. Two separate people. And one was from the Hoosick River and Association, and the other one was part of this group. So that's as far as that goes. I don't want anybody to feel that we're withholding information because I get accused of it. We all do all the time. I have nothing to give. I have nothing to hide. I don't know. It's as simple as that. I just don't know. And I just want to get that out there because I know there's going to be I'm sure there's going to be some questions on why am I not giving information out there to what's going on? I don't have it. I don't know. I don't know from the zoning administrator standpoint. I don't know from the select board standpoint. I don't know anything. Other than some people asked me about coming to this meeting or a meeting and commenting about it, and I advised them that I didn't think it was a really good idea. So that was that. So that's where I stand on that. on public comment.
Yeah.
Anything else from town officials?
I mean, I'm happy to add to that, like. I have conversations, I know that we all do, all the time with people. People get enthusiastic about potential projects, and that's great. I love enthusiasm. I really love participation. I like the fact that we're seeing more people online the past couple of meetings, and that I welcome. I've heard people speculate about different things that they might like to see there, like what can we do? And it's all been about like, how do we make our town better? And that's cool. And people just talk to us about it, I think, because we're on the select board. At least that's what I get. Conversations. And I know like I've heard multiple ideas and they sound great. And I am excited to see something positive happen with that space. It's been long enough. And so I'm excited about the fact that it is up for auction. And I hope that someone is able to invest in that and do something good with that. And so to that end, I'm supportive, but again, it's a private endeavor. It is not a town endeavor. Like that is not something that certainly that we have the money for as a town to purchase. We're tied up enough in the old town hall, for God's sake. I can't imagine taking on something like that. But anyway, I do just want to say I appreciate people's enthusiasm about wanting to see something good. I think we all do, and I know that like
Absolutely. I mean, I wasn't trying to deter anybody
Oh,
from
no.
moving forward. It's just that it's not appropriate to come to as a private group to come to the select board and ask for things like that,
Yeah.
okay? And I do have one other update. I almost forgot this. Which I think was incredibly important, and I apologize that I almost forgot this. Last Friday, I attended with Governor Scott and his cabinet. Capital for a Day, I think is the actual term of it. Got an invite as the chairperson of the select board from, I apologize, John Zarin. I can't remember the guy's name, but anyways, as everybody in Bennington County, all of the select board chairs got an invitation. I was able to attend at the Bennington Firehouse with a bunch of law enforcement, state police, our Bennington County Sheriff's Department was there, and Bennington Police Department, as well as the governor's, his entire cabinet. And I think it was about public safety was the narrative for the hour that we were there. That's why all the police agencies were there. So somehow I got asked by Jen Morrison, she's the commissioner of safety for the governor. She came right to me and asked me for some comments. And I want to let this board know what I felt were some of the comments. I felt that because the thing there was some topics that were brought up before. I was asked to speak. She wanted to hear from the southernmost person in Bennington County, okay, or town. So that's why I was asked. They talked about the drug task force and the amount of drugs coming in from out of state. They talked about mental health with children, juveniles, mental health with adults, and what the kind of plans are going on with the hospital. There's some stuff going on at SCMC that they're working on. Those were the main topics of conversation. And one of the things that I spoke about was I felt that, and I know some people probably don't feel the same way, and that's fine. We all have our opinions. I feel that our law enforcement agencies that we work with, which are all three of them, we do work with Bennington PD a little bit. They work together with state police and sheriffs together on these projects or things. I felt that for the staffing that they have, I think they're doing the best that they can without any question. I think they're all short-staffed. I think they're all going to tell you that. But I think for the staffing that they have, they're doing a really super good job. I was very open about that. I was very open that I think that our governor and our legislators and senators and stuff need to try to figure out how to help them increase their staff. Whatever they can help them do to increase their staffing shortage and help alleviate that. I was able to speak on the mental health issue and with the juveniles and DCF. About what goes on in my job allows me to talk about that a little bit, how I think we really struggle in our communities with that. I think there's a big, you know, and there again, I think part of that staffing, I think some of it is and Eric Marthage, our state's attorney, spoke on this as well. There's a flaw in their, and I don't deal with that flaw, but there's a flaw in the system that they're trying to work out. I will say that I really was, I really was impressed because I saw a lot of note taking by a lot of people in the governor's cabinet. I saw a lot of people that were paying attention. And I saw a lot of people writing down a lot of notes through the whole, not just what I was saying, but through the whole process. So I was very impressed with that. You know, it was an hour long. And there wasn't a whole bunch of select board chair people that were asked to talk. Tom Haley from Bennington spoke on some stuff, and he spoke on the staffing issue. And I'm not gonna get into what he said because that's his deal, but you know, he did speak on that part of it as well. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. It was, I thought it was pretty good. And I thought, you know, just attending was, and not just being able to attend, like I said, they asked me to speak a little bit, which kind of put me on the spot, but that's okay. I'm good at that. So cool. I try to be good at it.
You're very good at that.
Glad you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else from town officials? Anybody have anything? All right, Old Town Hall Committee discussion and committee member appointment. So I think we had 3 applications for the committee.
Mhm.
I think we had Jenny Duar, Bob Jarvis, and Fred Miller.
Yep.
And I think that's the only 3 that we have, correct?
Yep. So 3 of them and me is like board, and we'll have a note taker and.
Yep, Kate, I already reached out to Kate, our board secretary.
Oh, great. Okay.
I can give you her email if you too, it's board.secretary.
And we can coordinate.
Yep.
Get going.
They'll be televised like every other.
Yes, they'll have to warn. Post their agendas, just the same as every other meeting, and then Kate will do the Zoom and the minutes.
Okay.
I don't think we need to make a motion on this. I think we've talked about this 100 times over.
just-
I think we just take these.
Do we make the
3
appointments?
I think we could be official and make the appointments. I don't think we really need to make a motion out of them. We can. I just think that let's move it forward. We've talked about it forever. We gave people ample opportunity to apply to be on this committee, probably way more than we should have.
I had a lot of conversation.
That's right. And that's right. A lot of conversation. So, the only question that I have to the board at this point is, do we say, this is the committee? Or if somebody comes in 2 weeks from now, do we say, okay, they can jump in? What is, and
I'd hate to turn around and turn somebody away.
I agree with that to a certain extent,
I understand I know where you're kind of gonna go with that.
other than they've had
They've had
ample
ample
opportunity to apply.
And I'll go either way, whatever.
Me too, Carl. I play devil's advocate with this and
So I have a question then. Are we freezing the size of the committee to 3 then?
No, I don't think I think that's a great question, right? Because if we make appointments and we say no one else comes in, are we then freeing the size of the committee?
Well, that, it kind of de facto, that's kind of what you're doing. Which I'm fine if we decide to freeze it at 3.
That's my
I
question.
think that would be problematic because we did, I mean, and we've been very open about this, inviting anyone who wants to be on it. Just please send your email, let us know that you want to participate. And we've got 3 people. Like after all that discussion. And so I think what we could do maybe is like, I don't know, like any other board, let's say between 3 and 12 members or something like that. And if like have it open to appointments.
Well, the thing is if you make it at say 12 and you only got 3, you'll never have a quorum. So
That's-
technically they can't ever meet. So if you got 3, I mean, you could set it at 5. That way 3 can meet and you have room if a couple more people want to join.
But we could still, well, also, that's the thing too, right? When I'm thinking about quorums, the whole purpose, and tell me if you guys had a different understanding, I thought was for us to meet as a committee to come up with recommendations and ideas. So the committee could come up with 4 different ideas and recommendations ultimately after researching and then bring all of that to us. I don't know that they're actually making the decision. They're not going to have the authority to
No,
make the decision or
well-
anything.
Because
I don't know if you necessarily need a quorum
Right, I
to
don't.
have a meeting.
If you're not voting on anything, you don't need a quorum.
you're right, if you're not voting,
They're just an advisory committee, so they can,
Right.
3 of them, 3 out of 4 or 5 can sit here and have a conversation on a Tuesday night or whatever night, right? And then. So it's a question that I had that came up into my head and I just wanted to bring it out so that everybody can weigh in
if we
on.
do that logic, then we can just turn around and if somebody, which I'm not gonna,
You're still, you don't have to have a quorum, but you're still subject to open meeting law. So as far as open meeting law goes, that is a quorum. But you don't have to worry about a quorum because you're not voting on anything
Right.
necessarily. As far as that goes. Does that make sense?
yes.
It's kind of a catch-22.
Right, it is.
So 3 of them actually meet, because that would be a quorum, and they'd be violating open meeting law, but they don't need a quorum to meet necessarily.
They can meet no matter what the size of the people that are there. They just can't vote on anything until they have quote unquote a quorum.
We can't discuss town business if you have a quorum of people taking.
Okay.
You can't go on a cruise together.
That's what I'm trying to.
They'd have to warn a meeting
We
first.
could go a 5-member, and then if a couple other people decide they want to join, well, but we still have 3, which gives a quorum, so they can come and discuss.
So is Jeannie not counted as a member of that board?
Oh, that's right.
Because there's.
So there'd be
3,
4.
There's 4.
It would be 4. So we could have a 7-member board. Or however,
And that also presumes we can get a couple more people.
we're not going to, but we're what you're gonna have is, all I'm thinking of is quorum. You're still gonna have the quorum to do your business. And if that gives you open up, if somebody says, hey, I would love to join, I just found out, whatever.
I think we're overthinking it.
I think we're
I do too.
As a committee, I think you let it ride. I don't think you have to put a number on it.
And they can interact as,
Because they can interact. If they disagree, then the 2 that are disagreeing go get their information and bring it back. It's not like they're voting and.
And that'll be presented to the select board. Like,
Yeah.
many will come back and
Right.
say, we didn't reach an agreement about this, but we do have different options.
Exactly.
Strongly balanced.
Exactly.
so,
I just wanted to say, yeah, that's right. I mean, none of the planning commission, the DRB, and none of that matters. This is an advisory committee.
Right.
I would make a recommendation that after, since there was a deadline. I will say that I posted on Facebook, I posted on Front Porch Forum. I also wrote a letter to the banner.
Yep.
So it was everywhere. It wasn't just on the town website that the town did. I went over with all of that too. So my suggestion to you to consider is if anybody else does want to jump on the committee, that they need to be interviewed by the board or discuss it with the board as opposed to just being plumped on because
correct.
they missed the deadline.
Yes.
So just make a new parameter for anyone new.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion.
We can do that. We can talk about that at the first meeting. The one thing I do kind of,
We certainly could make that. If somebody were to come in here and say, okay, 2 meetings from now, though I'd really like to be on that, then we can certainly come up with parameters.
right. I
What should
think
we do now?
I think If it happens,
Yeah, I don't have
Yeah,
a strong.
if it happens.
If it happens.
One thing that I have any concern about, it's not even really a concern that I would like to not see happen preferably, is for someone to just decide they want to drop into a board meeting, show up, say everything they have to say, which is fine, and not actually participate in the research and not actually participate in like a group effort of like trying to come together and reach a consensus about something. And then we never see them again. And then what we hear about all over social media or somewhere else is like, oh, well, I said what I thought and nothing happened and this board isn't doing anything.
Or say something on Facebook and expect something to happen.
I would hope that would not happen, but I want this to be, I think we all want it to be taken seriously. And I think
I
that,
think that's a great point.
It's good, very good point.
so I do think anyone else who joins, that's great. The more the merrier, but I do think, I agree that.
And they do have opportunities to join. They can join the discussion at the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, then I say we vote on the three, and if anybody applies, we interview them.
I like it.
Or, sorry,
Because you're gonna be, you're. Hey,
Let's
Jeannie doesn't need spare time outside of town.
I don't care.
whatever.
What's that?
It is the board's pleasure to
There's been,
this committee with the three applicants and Jeannie as the representative from the select board.
I'll move for that creation of it.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So first meeting, how do we find out about?
Gonna connect Jeannie with Kate, our board secretary, and then.
And we can have a discussion about scheduling. So we'll probably do like a doodle or something and figure that out.
Perfect. Glasses, no more computers trying to do. Okay. Rising tide tower, cell tower, continued discussion and possible action. You put it on.
I did. I did put that on. That is correct. Let me bring back my notes here. Don't die, computer.
I did hear back from the lodge this evening, and he said he is unaware of the species of trees. He said there's a lot of ones in there, but he's unaware of exacts. And the completion of the project would be about, said it would be probably about 3 months, maybe 4. They just did a proposed schedule change, and the evidentiary hearing for that was set for March. So say they started in April, that would probably be early, but say they started in April, so it'll probably be like a late summer, fall completion date.
Okay, great.
So basically, it's probably close to 2 years from the time I did the initial survey in October of 24. Okay.
So the reason I put this back on our agenda, I know it's been here a number of times, is because we did receive, as a group, as a select board, an email again from the landowners adjacent to the property where the cell tower will be erected. At this point, if it is ultimately approved, and there was concern about whether or not now that the tower was going to be too tall, because we have the allowance for 20 feet above the tree canopy. Jenny, like one of the measurements at least has been 73 feet. It looks like the tower, after renovations and revisions, that tower will be at 93 feet. But then the concern was brought up about a lightning rod, which sounds like it's going to be about 4 feet high, about a half an inch in diameter, kind of like one of the older, like big car antennas that used to be on the cars, attached to the tower itself. And the allegation that would then put it above the tree canopy. So I know that we all on the select board take it seriously, that we are, excuse me, like abiding by our bylaws. And so we've looked at those bylaws again. And that's the thing about the bylaws, right? Like, there isn't a discussion in them at all. It talks about, you've got the height of the tower, but does that also include, or is that separate from anything adjacent that's attached to the tower? And that's one of the things that I was thinking about, right? Because you have this tower that's is what it's going to be, but then you have the lightning rod which is like a separate antenna that gets attached. So that didn't seem necessarily clear to me. And then I also had questions about the tree canopy, like, and the tree canopy is not going to be like a permanent static thing, they're trees. And so I wanted to get this back on the agenda, just to talk through it as the select board. As we're moving forward with this. And again, we submitted our letter months and months ago. That hasn't changed. We ultimately don't control this. The state has that final say. We do not. But just to make sure that we were like dotting all of our i's and crossing our t's to show that we have been diligent about this and we are taking it seriously. I wanted to have the conversation.
Any thoughts? Carl?
Well, not really. I mean, I think probably this is more of a zoning. I mean, you were talking zoning bylaws.
Mhm.
That gets back into the zoning bylaw stuff, not
Mhm.
select board. So,
Any thoughts?
Yeah, if it, if the lightning rod counts toward the overall height, then I would say yes, it violates zoning bylaws. No, I mean, we could kick it over to the zoning board and ask them to have a meeting and let them make a decision.
DRB.
Or DRB, sorry.
but that is dependent on the tree canopy, because it's based on the tree canopy.
Yeah, it's based on the overall height of the tree canopy, so.
So I apologize, I'm gonna interrupt both you guys.
Okay.
Okay, because I see a hand raised, and I apologize because I should have said this at first. This is a discussion for the select board only tonight. I'm not gonna entertain any discussion from outside parties on this matter. This is for us to decide.
Okay.
Okay, and I can do that as the board chair.
Okay.
I am not gonna get into a big giant discussion back and forth on any of this. We've heard all of the arguments back and forth based on facts and whatever. So I apologize to everyone here at the board and everyone in the office. I am sorry. Back to you, sorry. And Carl.
So are you making a motion then? Like if there's any discussion,
That was
done, then put a motion.
And as a, yes.
You're saying you want select board discussion, like, and the point that you're bringing up, Brian, is exactly where I am. Like, I want clarification from zoning, because it is not clear to me from looking at those bylaws. Because I could certainly argue that either way. And then again, what is the tree canopy height? I feel like we've gotten multiple measurements on that.
Just to weigh in on that, just so that I'll let us if you guys have an email, but one of the abutters in the case has requested that a third party come in and remeasure the tree canopy. That is not something that's just like readily available. It's not like something that's Mike as zoning administrator would know. I looked into it on the A&R Atlas. They have like layers, they have the tree canopy. The measurement is not there. I'm assuming it's because it's something that is changing frequently, tree growth and stuff, but it's not something that you can just find it. Like I think another engineering firm would have to come in and.
Your public comment said that the petitioner calls it 73 feet.
Yes.
Yes. So
They're requesting, this, yes.
So I did a little bit of thinking on this, as both the chairman of the select board, chairperson of the select board, and also as the zoning administrator. So, here's my thoughts. The survey done, when it was done for the 73-foot tree canopy, was done in October of 2024.
Yeah.
So the reason I asked Hannah to ask questions to Will Dodge, who's the lawyer for Rising Tide, was because trees grow, right? We all know that, unless they're dead.
Absolutely.
And in the pictures that we saw, those trees were fully alive. right? So what is the tree canopy today?
No.
Right? And the other reason I asked for the completion date is what is the tree canopy gonna be in 2026, late summer, early fall, when the project is completed, when the lightning rod, sorry, I was drawing a blank for a minute, when the lightning rod is installed on the 93 feet top. Right? So, the species of trees, I don't know what are there. I can tell you that if it's the slowest growing trees are oaks. And they grow anywhere from 1 to 2 feet per year, dependent upon a lot of factors, right? If there's poplars in there, some birch, some of those kind of trees, river ash, any of those, I don't believe there's any river ash up there, I would say probably not. I would say there's a pretty good chance there's some poplar in there. I don't know. Pines,
I think there's
those,
fine.
those trees can grow up to 6 feet per year in height in our area on average. So just food for thought, right? It's just because we want to have all of our ducks in a row. We want to have all the information that we can have out there. So what is the tree canopy gonna look like upon completion of the tower? I don't know. If I had a little crystal ball, right, we could. There's a potential that the tree canopy, if there's some pines in there and some poplars in there, there's a potential that the tree canopy at that point could be over 80 feet. Without any, some of the higher trees. And if it's all oaks, which I don't know, oaks are one of the premier logs or trees that get logged off over the
Yes.
years, and then beech and poplar, as we all know, grow back in birch. So I don't know what the tree canopy is.
What is the height of the tower?
93 feet with an additional 4 feet,
4 feet, okay.
97 total.
I mean, I would dare say that upon completion of the tower, the tree canopy would be above what the bylaws allow.
I mean, the tower itself, I agree with, right? And thinking about the rate at which trees grow. And I think that when we're talking about, we need these measurements. If 20 feet, if that's what our bylaws state, and I presume that is 20 feet in actual real time. Like, the question is, when this is constructed, what is your tree canopy? What is the tower? Like, not, let's say it took 3 years for construction. Not, so if we're talking about in real time.
I mean, there's a chance right now that if it's pines and poplars, there's a very good chance that it's already above. Excuse me, the tree canopy is already above the 4 feet extra height. Without knowing the species, that's why I asked that question.
I do think going forward, it would be helpful to, this is how bylaws get amended, right? Go ahead and be really clear, because I think.
Yeah.
and I-
Well, my concern is like, define tree canopy.
Where do you define it at?
How far out? Are you doing an average? If so, over how far? A square mile? 100 feet from the property line?
Or 5 feet or 5 feet off from where the tower is.
I've asked that question, no one's been able to answer it. I've asked it several times and I've never received an answer on where the tree canopy is measured from. I've never have. From anyone. No one has been able to answer that question. Or they just haven't.
Cause I mean, if you're going like, what is the height of the tallest tree within, an eighth of a mile? Like that's what I wanna know, cause I mean, you got fields right over there. Where the average height would be nothing, cause it's open field.
I would presume, right, that canopy would have to be measured within a particular circumference around.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
I think because right now you don't know the exact measurements, you don't know what it will be in 2 years, you don't know exactly what it is, or you.
I don't think you can accommodate for what it will be. I think you have to go on based on what it is currently.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in 2 years, all the surrounding trees could get cut down.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I'm not
So
sure,
at that point, like, we're gonna tell them like, sorry, now you're out of compliance, you gotta tear it down.
well, that's another thought I had, Brian, right? So if the cell tower were to be built. And move forward. Right? And it was in total compliance. And then absolutely. The landowner. Could. Conceivably come in and clear cut. There's really nothing, there's absolutely nothing that the town. Zoning or select board or anybody can tell that landowner. You cannot clear cut that.
Unless the property's in a conservatorship.
That's right. So that is definitely an option, right? Or it's a it definitely could happen. There's no doubt about it. So, you know.
I mean, I personally would love to see additional cell phone coverage, but we have zoning bylaws for a reason. And I said before in the first, when they were here before, that zoning bylaws can be changed and there's a process for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure that. I don't know, yeah. I mean, I think
The rules are the rules. If we're not gonna follow the rules, what's the point of having them?
Yeah.
you know, I think we've already sent our letter.
Yeah, I mean, we have, I mean, like,
We have, but. There have been like several. Changes made, do you remember last time we had to submit another letter because there was a substantial amendment? You're in one of those periods right now, so if you wanted to say something, it would have to be resubmitted. Just because we kind of made the statement to them that the town was hands off because we thought it was in compliance with the bylaws. After they changed it down to 93 feet, however.
Yeah, and that was my thought, but
Yes.
the lightning rod issue's been brought up, so
Yep.
if the lightning rod does count toward overall height.
So you guys have to, I think, just make a decision what you wanna do based on the measurements and facts that you have.
Well, I think, yeah, I honestly think we need a definition. Before we make any discussion or any decision about it, right? I think we need a definition. Does the lightning rod count as part of the structure?
that's,
A clarification from the,
that's the problem because.
It doesn't specify.
Doesn't specify. That's like
I mean, it's only gonna be what, a 1/2 inch diameter, something like that?
4 feet and about a 1/2 inch diameter.
So essentially, it's not gonna be visible.
we ask clarification from the public service board? Or are we turning around trying to define a determination for ourselves?
The tower bylaws don't specify.
I understand, but that's is the problem. Our bylaws don't specify that.
So I mean, it doesn't specify, so I mean, by default, I would think the lightning rod is included in the height.
I would say so too. But
If you had a separate caveat that says lightning rod under certain diameter with no attached lighting on top does not count.
we don't know what the,
But the tower is referenced as 93 feet in like several
Yes,
places.
okay, all right,
It's,
but we,
I think I need legal clarification.
I think
yes.
that we do too. I don't think that this is clear.
I really.
I'm not seeing any.
Yeah, I think overall, I think this kind of needs to be brought back to the DRB.
Yeah.
To revamp at least this part of the bylaws, to take us another look at it.
That would go to do,
I'm talking future state.
right, that would be back into planning when they redo their zoning bylaws to update that.
But right now, we could ask for clarification. I mean, I'm looking at these bylaws right now and.
I mean, I don't think you'd have to go back to the planning commission initially, because all you're doing is you're asking the DRB for better clarification within the existing structure.
But I think the DRB, I don't speak for them, right? But I think the DRB is gonna ask for a legal opinion on it.
They're still gonna, if I was vice chair, I'd still be advising Matt to get a legal opinion on that.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that, but I thought you were saying it needs to go to the planning commission.
I figured because if you were gonna change the bylaw.
Change the bylaw, no.
So I think that one thing we could do then potentially, Hannah, tell me if this sounds correct to you. I think that we could send a letter to the state, letting them know that we are taking this under advisement and that we're asking for clarification. And we're talking about the height of the tower. Are we talking about the tower itself? Because that's how it reads. Or are we talking about a tower that with an addition, does this 4-foot addition antenna
Right,
also count?
but how do you determine,
I think that what we're doing is we're just advising
We can determine that.
we have to determine the canopy to determine whether the tower is in compliance or not.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that let the state know that we're trying to get clarification. Anyone can give us that about the tower, and that also we're trying to determine canopy height. It just lets the state know that we're involved with looking at this still.
I mean, I think from the facts that we have, the canopy height has been determined.
Okay.
Right, by their engineers.
Based on the information they submitted, that's what we have to go by. If more information is submitted by an abutter property, then I think that's a bridge we would have to cross. If we come to that.
If an abutter wants to foot the cost for an engineering firm to come in and do a tree canopy survey, I guess you call it, right? Yeah. Then I don't see why the abutting landowner wouldn't be able to do that. I don't think it's the town's responsibility to come in
Oh,
and
no.
foot the cost
Definitely not.
for another engineering firm to come in and do a tree.
No, it's not the town's responsibility to get, I mean, to get clarification on the definition, yes. But as far as like doing the survey, that's not our responsibility.
Right. I think if an abutting landowner wanted to do that and at their cost, I think.
Yeah, and then if they want to submit it, if we got two drastically different numbers, then.
I think they have every right to do that.
So it sounds like we need clarification on definition. And that right now, if we're going with 73 feet and 93 feet, adding the additional 4 feet,
We just need.
What's it all?
that's what
Clarification
we
on
need to
that.
know. If that does count as part of the tower, then that is in violation of bylaws.
So who is the expert on that? Who are we trusting to give us that legal?
I think you have to go
Whether
to,
that lightning rod is part of the
I
tower.
think we have to go to the, Public Utilities Commission.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they must have encountered something similar.
Absolutely, right? Like this is not
Right,
a
we're not
brand new
reinventing the
question.
Yeah, any other cell phone tower, are they factoring the height of the
They're
lightning?
counting the lightning rod as part of the tower, or is that just something separate that's there just as a protective device?
So I think it's a Vermont Public Utilities Corp. I'm sure if not, Tara, I think they could probably
Point us in.
point us in the right direction.
I mean, VLCT is always an option too, but I got a feeling this is a little too niche for them.
They're gonna say, can you contact your legal counsel?
Or, yeah.
But I think we pace this down a bit and try to get an answer back as soon as possible.
Yeah,
I have a question though, so whether they say, yes, it is part of the total height or no, it is not. Our bylaws don't like specify that portion of it, so how do you
Oh,
guys reach a decision, is once you know?
Because I think that our bylaws are vague in that instance. And I think that we're reaching out to a state entity to get clarification. Because the bylaws say tower. And I mean, it's just,
So I think that, to
that
answer.
is not clear to me.
Right, I agree with you. I think at that point. Just my opinion at that point. Not really my opinion, and my job at that point. Would be that, as a zoning administrator, it would be denied if they determine that the antenna is part of the structure.
Yeah.
But like any other. Permit that gets denied. Rising Tide has the opportunity. To appeal the decision. Through the Development Review Board. And they would have to ask for a variance.
Yeah.
And, which is part of the legal process,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we're following the law,
Yep.
right? We're following, like you said, we're following our laws. That would be part of the, legal process. There would be a public hearing on it. And whatever decision the DRB made, because they're a quasi judicial board, would be the final decision. Whatever above, over and above what we, as the select board, decide.
Right.
Does that make sense? It's like any other permit, right? It's like somebody who doesn't meet setbacks on property lines or
Yeah.
any of that stuff.
Yes, it's the denial, they still have the right to appeal it to the Development Review Board. And if they don't like the Development Review Board's opinion, they have the right to appeal it to the Environmental Court.
Right, environmental court.
And I think if we can't get an answer back fairly quickly from the Public Utilities Commission, and hopefully we can, that seems like a phone call.
Maybe look back and forth, they've been very responsive.
Perfect, that would be great. Yeah, and if it's part of the tower, it's in violation, and if we don't get a response back, then my position would be with the additional 4 feet, without a clear definition, it still looks like it's in violation.
Everybody good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. General fund budget overview and initial discussion.
So this is just an initial draft. This has most of the numbers from all of the department heads. A couple of them we got a little bit late, but nothing major, no major changes. This general budget includes a 5% wage increase across the board. It looks a little bit scary with as far as how much needs to be raised by taxes because we are giving less back this year. We only have 19,000 some change in undesignated surplus from FY 25. So that means more needs to be raised by taxes. Our general expenditures only went up about 10 grand. As far as I know, emergency services are staying the same. It's only the rescue squad that I haven't heard from yet, but I gave them a deadline next week, so I still have time for that. And ballot articles, we could end up with more if people submit petitions before January, I think it's 16th. So we won't be able to approve a final budget until mid-January, but we should be able to have a final budget to approve by that point. So I'm just trying to think of other things. So the changes that need to be made to this draft that was sent to you all and is online for people to view was just that Hannah requested the zoning expend line be increased a little bit. We currently have 300. We want to increase that to 6. And then the transfer station, the SWIP line, because the amount that we're paying for SWIP, our portion went up. So we just need to increase that by about 2 grand.
Anybody have any questions on that, on the budget?
Nope.
Again, I was able to go through that pretty tight. It hasn't been crazy busy work still.
No, thank you for that. There's the questions that I sent you all.
Right.
Yes. Talk about.
I do want to bring up one thing, and I was gonna bring it up under updates from officials, but the budget is the more appropriate place to bring this up. And I've actually given this a super ton of thought. I think it's time. And if nobody's done it yet, so let's be the first one to do it. The first town in the state of Vermont to do this, and I'm not sure that we would be, but I think it's time that towns in the state at least try to band together. This 12% increase again this year, 41% over 5 years at the state level is ridiculous.
It's not sustainable.
I agree completely.
The state is killing us.
Yeah.
The state is killing our residents. Okay? The state is
70% of it.
There's a lot of feel-good legislation up there with no thought on how they're going to fund it other than on the back of the taxpayers.
And I for one am willing to start whatever, if it hasn't already been started, I'm willing to jump on for sure if it has been, but I'm willing to start it if it hasn't. And I think every one of us sitting here is willing to start this. I think we start raising our voices to the state lawmakers and say enough is enough is enough, you're destroying the
Well,
residents.
we have every right to ask our representative to come here and talk to us.
And we do, and yes, I think we should. I totally agree with that, Brian. I've thought about that. I think that we need to reach out to other select boards. Whether I have some ideas, but I'm not sure they're wicked good ones about how to do this. But I really and truly believe that select boards throughout this entire state, we may not get them all, right? I don't care if we get them all. Let's get a pretty sound majority of them, of different boards, and say, even if it's a representative from each board that agrees with this, we need to go to Mount Pelier and we need to say, enough. We can't do this. Our residents, our taxpayers can't keep doing this. We're working really hard. We work really hard sitting here. The 5 board members that sit here year in and year out, the office staff, our department heads, everyone who's involved in our town budgets works really hard to keep these things as the increases as minimal as possible. Right? We all work hard. It's ridiculous that we work as hard as we do. Every one of us, right? We go over the budgets that's presented to us. We scrutinize it. We read it. We look at it. We ask questions. Our treasurer, our executive assistant, our administrative assistant, like I said, our department heads, they work hard to come up with a budget that they think that our residents and taxpayers in town can afford.
Yes.
They work really hard. The people upstate don't care. They don't care that we work so hard down here, and then they say, we're going up another 12%. Enough, we have to stop this.
That's on top of going up almost 15% last year.
Well, the problem is could you tell me how they come up with the numbers? It used to be when, back in the old days, the school budget or the school money was set by the town. And we could turn around and we knew who to contact to, hey, why did it go up that much? And you know what? Maybe people need to start voting budgets down, voting the school budget down.
But I'm not even, Carl, I'm not even gonna put blame on-
Because Mike, I agree with you 100%. But the problem is the school says we need X amount of money. They don't have to go to us anymore and say they need X amount of money. They send it goes to the state. Now, the state is the one that's giving them the money.
Well, so I think there's a little bit of misinterpretation here too, though. So a lot of times the school budgets, and I'm not saying they couldn't tighten their shit. Okay, and that's not what I'm saying, believe me.
Okay.
Believe
I
me.
know we've had these discussions and you're more conservative than I am on.
I'm pretty involved in what goes on at that level, right? From my professional
Yeah.
job, okay? I'm pretty involved there. But it's like anything else. It's like when I was in the fire service, when I was in the fire department, fire chief. There's so many unfunded mandates that you have to do. The state is mandating you have to do this for education, and you have to do this and this and this and this and this. And then they say, you 5 and our staff that works hard, you find the money for it. That's what you tell your taxpayers and your residents to find the money.
To find the money.
We're telling you have to do it, but you guys gotta find the money.
I'm willing to bet if we did 2 separate tax bills like New York State does, residents would get a better idea where their money's going, because I don't know about you guys, but I get yelled at a lot that we overspend and overtax.
I would love,
I keep pointing out, be like, the majority of your tax bill you get from us doesn't even go to us. That's all the state.
I would love to do
I
that.
have that pie chart you can give to people.
Yeah, well, most people don't even think about that stuff until they get that tax bill.
Chart is one thing, but if you have to write a check out for the town of Pownell, and then you have to write a check out for the education part of it separately, well, now you understand exactly how much money's going where.
I would support that.
Yeah, no,
I don't think we're legally
I
allowed.
don't think we can do that. The state's not gonna let us do that. Let's put it that way.
I
Well, you
think,
can amend and you can change that, like it is all that could be changed.
I just think we need to band together. Select boards in the state of Vermont. Towns and cities and whatever else.
You're almost talking about having a movement, Mike.
Carl, if that's what you wanna call it, I'm fine. with
I could
that.
call it a lot of other things too. Hey,
I
I think that's a wonderful idea because that's the only way us small towns are going to actually get our voices heard.
how else do you do it? I think we can bring Jonathan in and have him certainly talk about
Yeah.
it, right? And I think we should. I think we should invite Jonathan
Yeah.
into a meeting. And I think we should express our dissatisfaction. I think that's our job.
Well, we're merged with the next town over, invite their select board over for the same meeting. Or we can go over there and go to one of theirs.
And
Same thing, like John.
I would love to reach out to, or have Jonathan reach out to the towns that he represents and the select boards that he represents and have a meeting with him. I think we should probably plan that. I just think it's time that we do something.
I would like to hear a personal explanation. How can you justify this?
And
Year after year, how can you justify? Look me in the eye and tell me how.
And also remember that we have two other legislators that we also need to, we have Mary Morrissey from Bennington District 5, and forgive me, I don't remember his name, but the other guy from Bennington. And you know what? They need to come and answer, just like Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
If we're gonna have him come and explain, I think they should come too. If not, they're not representing their constituents at all, which I don't think they are.
I seriously think we should schedule a meeting specifically for this and get it started. That's
Yeah.
fine.
I'm full in
I've been
favor of
giving a
that.
lot of thought on this. I really and truly have, because it really bothers me that there's two things that bother me, okay? One thing that really bothers me is we work so hard to keep things as close to level funded as we can. We work hard as a town and town employees. Okay, we work in elected officials. We work incredibly hard for this. And the other thing is the people that put these increases in place, they don't care.
They're just numbers.
They're just numbers. And the people who have to pay them are just a number. You pay $5,000 and you pay $5,000 and I pay $5,000 and you pay $5,000. They don't care that you're Carl Stromer paying $5,000 or Jeannie or Mike. They don't care, right? They don't care they don't care that you work 3 jobs to pay that $5,000 and you don't get to spend time with your kids and do whatever, because you have to pay
They
your
don't
property
care.
taxes.
You're just a number.
They're just a number. And I think it's time that changes. Or at least we try to change it.
Or at least rattle some cages.
That's gonna change if people don't speak up. It's just the plain truth of government.
I'm ready to speak up, Brian. I guess if it's a Boston Tea Party, if it's a Pownell Tea Party, it's a Pownell Tea Party. I'm good with that still. I just wanted to bring it up to this board. I respect everyone here immensely. You guys all know that. It's just something that's been on my mind for weeks now, since this 12%.
And then I think we could probably get a town meeting at least initially scheduled in January. I don't think we can make this happen in December.
Oh, no, this is
But-
long term. This is long-term
I
planning.
do think we need to start moving earlier than later, and I take this seriously, and I bet we could come up with something in January.
I'll reach out.
Thank you. And I appreciate you guys listening to me on this. I know I got a little rant here, but it bothers me that I have so many people that live here in this town that we represent that are struggling to pay their property tax, and that's one of the reasons of that.
Well, one of the big things I hear are basically some of the more closer to retiree people. They're already figuring they're gonna have to sell and move.
Yep.
Like they're giving up their dream of staying in Vermont through retirement.
There's two things, right? There's, from me, there's the retirees who have lived here a significant portion of their life that really want to spend the rest of their life here but can't afford it. There's also the young people
They can never afford it.
We're leaving the state.
that have to move
Yeah,
because
they can't raise their family.
they can't raise their families here, that their family's been here for 80 years, but they can't afford to stay here at 25
I
or
guess that's-
28 or 30 years old because it's just,
Yeah,
or even whatever, it's incredibly hard.
Vermont's biggest export is our youth.
At the same time, there's been a movement by the state to increase the population of Vermont. That's not gonna work. That math does not work. When you
Right.
have that kind of an incredible increase
Right.
in taxes, and then at the same time, you're trying to bring people in. I don't know how the hell you sell.
You can't increase spending when you have decreasing population. Those two don't go
We
together.
need to go through from. There, as Mike says, there's a lot of unfunded mandates.
It's crazy. So I think we're on the right track. I appreciate you guys listening to me and I appreciate the input.
Oh, well, it's nice to hear.
I just think it's time. And I think it's also, I also think it's time that our residents and taxpayers hear that we care. I'm not sure we get that message out or have gotten it out in the past. As clearly or as loud as we should, and I hope everyone hears it tonight, that that's, at least this board is willing to go ahead and fight for the people who live here and fight the state. And I'm ready. I'm 61. I got nothing to lose. Well, they can take my birthday away. That's good. I won't have any more. I'm good.
Mr. Cooper, could you also reach out to Mary and the other one?
Yeah.
I would like, I would love, hey, they're a representative, our representatives just as much as
Mhm.
Mr. Cooper, and they should be here too.
I'll tell you who was at that meeting that I was at was Senator Plunkett.
Yep,
So he's the other one. I think you were having trouble.
he's a
thinking.
senator. No, it was. The other kind,
I would,
if I come up with a name, I'll email it to you.
I
I'll give it to you.
had some conversations, or a little bit of a conversation with him. I wouldn't mind seeing him here too.
Okay.
Just some of the representatives that are here in the southern part, and then I'll brainstorm with how to try to reach out to some other select boards and try to get a little bit of a, I don't really want to call it a coalition going, but a little bit of, I guess, movement, right, Carl, for lack of a better term right now.
Yeah.
It's just been bothering me. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. So
Road, whoops.
Yeah,
I
right.
gotta address the questions first.
Oh.
So that I can update the draft and bring it back next week.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So I have six. So the first is the cemetery commission. It'll be a new commission. Hopefully we have people run for that. Do we want to do a stipend for them? And if we did, would it come out of a line where we budgeted in, or should it come out of the cemetery fund, which they do have money in, or they will have money in?
Remind me, do we stipend for like Concom and?
So then our next question is if we're going to, Parks and Rec does not receive a stipend, but they get an expense line every year. The town does not get a stipend yet. Planning does, DRB does, Select Board does.
Well, I think if we're going to do one stipend, we have to do it for all, and I don't.
I think the difference is planning, DRB and select board are quasi judicial boards, hence the stipend.
I don't think we give the new cemetery commission
Okay.
that would be my.
I think that's an
Preference.
advisory
Yeah.
commission.
I think giving them a small budget to work with, I think is acceptable.
Cemetery Commission has fiscal responsibility for their own funds, so they could actually turn around and come to you and say, we're going to pay ourselves from our fund. But I'm just trying ahead of time to see how the select board feels about stipend. at this time, if you wanna say no, then we'll just deal with it in the future if it comes up again.
Unless,
Ooh, I
No.
would have to say if the cemetery commission came before us and said they wanted to spend the money on themselves, I think at that point, we need to re-examine that sanitary commission.
They are elected officials and they have control.
Well, then we have put it back before the voters at that point.
For their funds.
but they're not, okay.
It is under
But-
statute, it is by statute that they have
Mhm.
that authority. They are elected.
I'll make a motion that do we need to make a motion or do we?
No, if you don't wanna do a stipend, let's move on to the next. Conservation Commission, do you wanna do a stipend for them? Or an expense line? I do know that they like to be a part of the National Conservation Commission's, it's like a $50 payment a year, it's very minor, but they don't have an expense line currently.
I think that's fine. I think it's different having an item line, a spend line.
Yep.
Versus having stipends. And I think, yes, I mean, they should be able to do certain things like that.
So Parks and Rec gets 4,000, they were getting 5 and bumped them down, I think it was last year, it was first year they got 4. So Parks and Rec gets $4,000 and Conservation Commission doesn't get anything currently. So the budget draft you have in front of you does not have an expense line for them.
What I would like to do then is propose that we do have an expense line and we talk over that at our budget meeting and try to decide what that should be to begin with, to start with.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it gives us a chance to give a little thought to it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with that.
Let's see, the next question is law enforcement. So the draft budget you have in front of you has enough money to cover their increased rate and continue the same amount of hours we have currently. So I didn't know if you wanted to relook at that, leave it. What your thoughts were on the law enforcement contracted line.
Their current hours,
25.
25 hours.
80, they're $80 an hour and they're going up, I think it was a 25% increase or something, it's like $84. So we did the math. And budgeted exactly that amount like we did last year.
I feel fine with the current hours, actually, I don't.
Any other thoughts?
Have they, I don't think that I've seen a report. And if I should have seen a report, then that's on me. But as far as looking at their hours, have we seen a significant increase in calls received that they need to respond to?
No, the last update they gave was a couple months ago, right after the contract renewal.
Right, I do remember that one.
So each month when they send their invoice, it is a full packet of everything they've done. So if you ever want to look at those, you can, but I don't think there's been an increase necessarily. It's usually the same.
I think they're doing a really good job of keeping their hours at the 25 hours per week. I'm not sure that's. Obviously, I don't think anyone else thinks that's enough hours. But, I think they do keep a good job, or keep really track of it and do a really job of keeping the hours at 25.
Yeah, they have to. Definitely.
So if they're what, $84, $84 or $84.
I think it's went from 80 to 84. So if you look at the general fund.
So if they went from 25 hours, if it's $84, if they went from 25 to 28 hours a week. It's another $13,000 a year.
Right, so the budget was going from 104 to 109 too.
Right. Just giving you guys a little food for thought, that's all. If we went from 25 to 20 hours a week, it's about 13.
The majority of the voters that I've spoken with, I think they're willing to absorb more money to keep some kind of police coverage in town.
But I would like to bring that back.
Okay.
Honestly, I think that what I'd like to do. I'd like to see if we could find. I'd like to see if we could find a cut.
Elsewhere in the budget?
I don't know if we can.
This is the thing, this is
It's
the
a
thing.
pretty tight budget.
It's a tight budget, Mike, and
I know, Carl,
yeah.
it's an incredibly tight budget. I get it,
So you wanna bring law enforcement
Yeah.
back
yes.
to see if you can find a. I'm confused.
He wants to find the money for the.
I'd love to find an increase, I'd love to find a place to increase from 25 to 28 hours a week without increasing the budget by the $13,000.
It's, I mean,
You see what I'm saying?
I don't.
I don't think I can.
I know, I mean,
I've been over this.
unless we do less raises, that's like.
And I don't wanna do that.
That's fine.
I don't wanna do that. That, to me, that's.
But it is an option, and just
Alright.
to be clear.
My opinion with that is. That's off the table. My opinion.
Yep.
One member,
I agree with you.
but that's my opinion is the raises are off the,
Okay,
taking that is off the table. Personally.
No, because that comes down to long-term stability for
Yes.
departments.
I think.
Because it's gonna cost us more money if we subcontract.
So I just, my opinion is it's off.
I mean,
we'll go back through it and see if there.
I know, Sarah, and I appreciate it. I'm not trying to give you more work.
No,
I'd love to be able to increase 3 hours a week. I know it doesn't sound like a lot.
Right, but before I would make a decision on that, I'd love to see I know Hannah's gonna kill me for asking this. The invoices, back invoices on the sheriffs, so we can actually look at and say, okay, where is the money being spent? Where are they spending it?
What months do you like though?
Give me the last 3.
And do you want total price that is charged for that invoice, or do you want them?
No, I want the invoice. I want what they give you. So
Just
the
the invoice or the daily log?
The
daily
daily log.
log.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be.
I did a huge breakdown on that. I feel like we have a lot of that already.
You have.
From this fiscal
I
year?
did a big breakdown. I think.
Yeah, you did. I remember seeing it.
Find
Was
that.
it this fiscal year though, or was it before they came in?
I can't remember.
I think
I'll
it
have to
was,
look it up.
but anyways,
Okay. Great, so we'll deal with that. The next question was, this is kind of just so we talk about it. Undesignated funds, the surplus. This board, previous years since I've been here, that money has always gone back to the taxpayers as a revenue in the next fiscal year's budget. So this year it's 19,000 and some change. I just wanted to discuss it. Do you guys want to leave it as a revenue? Or would you want to take it out and put it somewhere else, which is, I think, given our prior prioritization.
Well, it sounds like we're pretty much gonna roll it over into
I
the.
think we should roll it over just because
I think
it'll screw you the next year.
you should carry.
Because you won't have that revenue to keep, you'll have to increase. People will, how do I put this? You're gonna take the money this year out. So now,
It's not, it's
I know it's
So
not, but I don't
instead
know
of-
quite how to describe it.
current general taxes, instead of $1,150,081 and some change, that would go up that 19,000, because it would come
Okay.
out of the revenue side, and we'd have to raise it.
Okay.
on taxes. It would go to one,
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough as it is, I hate to take that 19,000 out,
I know, it's only 19, but it's 19.
but it's.
It's 19.
Exactly, exactly.
And it's only 13,000, but it's 13,000.
But of course, I just wanted to make it clear that is the board's decision. That is money that you can decide to designate other places, but like I said.
I think
that
it
would
works.
always-
I think it works really well doing it that way.
Okay. Moving right along, the CWSRF loan, that's the Clean Water Revolving Loan Fund that we have for the transfer station water testing. Will start repayment 12/1/29. So because we're looking at this ahead of time, that financial planning, like we've been trying to do, we can do this 2 ways. We can either budget. And the next time we do budgeting for the next fiscal year, we can budget that 28,000 and some change for that payment and do that each fiscal year. Or we can ask voters to start a fund this election and then either budget into that fund this year or wait till next year and budget into the fund then, but start building a fund to pay those $28,000 payments.
regardless of what the voters decide, it has to be paid back.
Mhm.
Right? And not trying to take it out of the voters' hands at all. That's not my intention, but it has to be paid back no matter what. So what is the advantage of asking the voters about creating a fund?
One extra year of saving.
Exactly.
It's one extra year. That's it.
Mhm.
Right.
1 year. Yep.
Right.
But we could absolutely just budget that 28,000 into the next fiscal year budget as a line item, CWSRF payment.
Yeah.
And then we don't have that fund to deal with.
Yeah, right.
Ballot article.
Right, I just think it would be, because I'm afraid that there's going to be, it's gonna be hard to, potentially, it's gonna be hard to educate some voters on exactly what it is.
Yep.
Right, and that's my concern.
Okay.
And it has to be paid anyway.
Yeah, I think we just factor it into the next budget as a line item.
And I'm not as concerned about the difficulty in educating voters. I think that we could do that, but I think we just factored in.
Okay.
It has to be paid.
Yeah, we don't have a choice, like we have to.
We have to do this.
I don't want to ask them for a year early just to be able to say we have the funds
Yeah.
a year ahead of time.
Right.
We're not paying ahead on it. We don't save anything by sending a check a year
Save
early.
off the principal or whatever. they
Yeah,
can difference.
yeah.
You're right, Brian.
If we could start early and save overall, then I'd say, okay.
Yep, no, I agree with that. That's a great point.
So the last one was that in this draft budget, general budget, we didn't put any money into the cemetery, fund. Because we figured once the commission was elected next year, they can act as a department head and come with a request for a certain amount of money to go into that fund. It has around 20,000 in it. So we felt like it was in a good place to just not put anything in it this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about that. I do too.
That's all I had for general.
I expected more.
Road fund budget,
This one is really fun, actually, because it came down. A lot of, he had undesignated surplus that was higher than we had for the general. And I talked about ideas for wage increases and, recruitment. So, and planning for retirement, all the things that you guys earmarked as your focus areas. So, him and I discussed a 7% increase for the road crew that is in this draft budget. What is also in the wage line that's not really obvious is a temporary position. That is my sort of suggestion on how to deal with the retirements. It would be a temporary position from January to September when we have a planned member retire. It was it's July, sorry, July 1.
yeah, sorry.
July 1 to September. It's like a 3-month position because we have a planned retirement in September. But it would be temporary so that they wouldn't get all of the insurance benefits and all of that stuff, but they would get a good hourly rate as that temp employee until the person retired, then they move right into that full-time permanent position.
And they would get the insurance at that.
And then they would get the insurance at that time and the other benefits. So it would be sort of like a way to recruit somebody, train somebody, and plan for that retirement all in one.
Guess it's a good opportunity to see if the person's gonna work out too.
I also wonder though, if that makes it more difficult to recruit somebody. If they don't have those insurance benefits starting off.
It could be, I don't know.
What would the additional cost be if we started them just sort of full-time instead of part-time?
And
What it normally is, like we've got the breakdown.
I would have to do the math, Medicaid, FICA.
For insurance,
The insurance is like 1,500 a month.
and that's if it's just a single person.
Right, and then you have muni, you have municipal retirement and all of the other things that would come up.
So Jeannie, I agree with what you're at. I agree with what you're saying. So what if we offered a partial insurance?
50%.
What if we offered a partial insurance for the first, from July to September? what if we offered the insurance plan 50%? I'll go with that, Carl.
50%. 2 months.
Town pays 50% of your insurance July, August, and September. Right? Because we're talking 3 months. You pay 50% of your insurance if you so, and I'm asking this question.
No,
you
no,
guys deal with
no,
this.
accounting.
I know.
Like a nightmare.
I know, and that's.
Oh, for
That
sure.
could be at that point, it could be that person's decision. If they said, no, I'm just gonna wait until it becomes a full-time position. I'm not paying the other half of this, so.
I'm not sure because of the way payroll deductions work now with we cover 100% of insurance. It all comes out of a liability line.
It's like, this is just a 3 month, I thought she said it was like.
I can set it up.
August and September.
So we just need those 3 months, they weren't sure.
Yeah, I think on Ellen's on it would create it.
Yeah, I think Ellen needs to be in on this conversation.
Well,
Can I get ask a really quick?
Just leave it as a 3-month temporary probationary period.
Yeah, I, for some
Simple as that.
I think I misheard you. I thought you said it was gonna be an 8 month.
Oh, I went, yeah, because I said January at first.
Yes.
No, that was my mistake.
And I don't think it's unusual at all for an employer to say
You have a
that your
90 days, you have a
insurance
90
kicks
day
in after
probation.
90 days. I think that's fine.
I,
I'm sorry, I did not mean to.
That's okay.
That.
Oh,
I thought you said 8, and that's why I was like, geez, I don't
You
know.
dodged the bullet there.
No, thank you.
No, 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 thank you. Got it.
It's a
Okay.
good conversation anyway.
Yes. Okay, no, I agree. 3 months is fine.
Tara, I want to say that you and Joel coming up with some of this, because we do have multiple employees that are gonna be retiring out. I think brainstorming this and coming up with some different ideas
Yeah.
and different ways to maybe bring somebody in, an employee. I want to commend both of you guys for that and working together on that. That's, if it doesn't work, well, we at least we tried,
Yeah.
right? And if we didn't do anything, then we would be probably in the same boat.
Yeah.
But I want to say thank you for trying to come up with a little bit of a different, out of the box idea on doing this and moving forward with this stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate this budget very much.
And it's like I said, pretty solid budget. It addresses the concerns that you all had or the focuses for budget priorities that you all had. As far as building needs and that stuff. Yeah, Joel, got a pretty solid budget. I just changed the wage line a little bit.
Yep. No, I feel good about this budget.
Any questions or things you want me to check into for next week as far as the road goes?
I found the road budget was super solid.
Okay.
No, as I did in general, I mean, I know like this, in time, so.
That clarification, I know much.
Ballot article discussion and possible action.
We kind of talked about this a little bit with the budget questions. I just was wondering if you had any ballot initiatives the board wanted to take this year. Other than have the taxes November 10th, like we usually do, have all the usual floor vote. Are there any ballot initiatives or anything that you want me to look into? Any of that? Just so you all know too, I wrote back to Jen about her fund suggestion and let her know that voters have to approve it. And she was like, oh, I don't think fund is a great way to go then with that, for grant matching. I explained that it's easier if we budget ahead and do a line item. And I forgot to mention that with the general fund, that $8,000 match is in there. It's included in there, for that V-Trans scoping study.
If the board decided we wanted a ballot article, what's the deadline for that? When do we have to have them, when would we have to have it in?
We'll say mid-January.
But it looks the middle of January.
Yeah, we still have time.
So the only reason, and I don't have any, I really and truly don't have anything really other than if we could meet with Jonathan Cooper and some of the representatives and whatever.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that maybe we have if we wanted to put a ballot article so that we could have the town, this is how the town feels, and I don't know the proper wording right now.
Like a town resolution.
Exactly, like a town resolution, the town of Pownell voters feel however about this 12% or whatever, these, you know, and I just wanted, that's just kind of popped in my head right now. So I just wanted to make sure we have time for that.
Okay.
That's all. And it sounds like we have plenty of time, so.
We do.
I'm not saying that's what I want to do, it just popped in my head when we were talking about it right there, you know.
Discuss it now so that we can find out all the legalities and, yeah, it gives us plenty of time.
There's the two reps.
Any more questions on that?
Nope.
All right, any public comment here?
Okay.
No hands for public comment?
Nope. All right.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Go.
You can, okay, I'll make the motion.
I'll second that motion.
Good enough.
All those in favor? Thank you, everyone.